What's up, folks? Today's going to be a really simple video on how to actually replace your blower motor without taking your dash apart, and also a couple of troubleshooting tips. So a couple of things that happened on this vehicle was one, when you set your blower speed, it only works on one speed. So no matter what setting you have it on, it would always just go on full blast. If that happens to you, the number one culprit is what's called the blower resistor motor. The blower motor resistor or heater resistor. And that's this little plug that you see right in here. There's two little screws that you take out. I think they're either like 8 millimeters or 10 millimeters. Anyway, it unplugs really easy. You unplug that and your resistor comes out. Let me see if I have one of those to show you. Okay, I just searched through my piles of parts and I don't actually have a spare resistor to show you, but basically once you unscrew these two screws, there's one at the top and one at the bottom that you don't see, that piece pops right out, and then you can swap that in and your speed control should work. Now the reason I'm putting this video up is because my blower stopped working after I installed my ECU, and I figured that since we were messing around back here in this area, it's probably a loose connection. So as you can see, the blower doesn't actually have a connector. I don't know if this is standard, but it looks like this is just hardwired into this car, and my ground actually broke loose. So without actually taking the dash down, there's only 3 screws that hold this thing in. The blower assembly pops straight down and you disconnect your vacuum line. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so I'm working backwards here, but you'll be able to follow along and figure out how to pull this thing out, even though I'm showing you how to put it back in. I went ahead and repaired the crappy wire taps that they had. So this is the power wire here, which is going wherever it goes. My ground wire is loose right now, and I'm just going to figure out a place to ground that later. But I can go ahead and throw this back in. I made my ground wire long enough that I can run this thing and tuck it and trim it however I need to. But basically, the only screws that hold this thing in are these two, which mount directly under here, underneath your dash, and this screw which mounts directly behind the glove box. So this thing, as it's oriented, the motor goes towards the firewall, and this unit just goes straight up underneath the dashboard. Alright, so the blower motor assembly is pushed back into place. As you can see, the 2 screw holes that you're going to want to take loose to remove it and to reassemble it are here. So we just have to line those up. It's just loosely hanging in there right now. It's not actually attached to anything. And then when you come up here, you can actually get access to this area here by popping the glove box loose. All you do is you just push on it on each side, and it's hard to do this with one hand, but these little tabs pop loose and let the glove box drop down. And you'll need to drop that down in order to push that thing up there, because your wiring harness is going to get in your way all the way at the back, and you have to really stick your hand down this gap and push everything out of the way so they can go all the way up and mount. So the last 2 parts that you're going to connect are the white vacuum line that goes on top of here, which I'm not going to push down just yet because I don't want to knock it out of position, because it's not screwed in. But out of your 3 screws, you have 1 here and 2 at the bottom, and that's about it. So I hope this video helps somebody out. Don't rip your dash apart to replace your blower motor. Thanks for watching, folks.